Hello and welcome back to the North American LCS. It's time for Clutch Gaming versus Golden Guardians. And in honor of Heimerdinger, I've upgraded the caster desk with Azael, Isaac Cummings-Bentley. Somehow I got brought in as well, so some downgrades, but it's okay. How you doing?
Be my turret.
I am your turret. Tell me what to shoot at, hit a grenade, and a beam is coming out. It's Tump into the starting lineups. On the blue side for this one is going to be Clutch Gaming. Same roster they've had all year long. Solo in the top lane, Lyra in the jungle, Feppevin in mid, Apollo in bot lane alongside Haku at support with their coach, David Lim.
And against them today on the red side is going to be Golden Guardians. In the top lane, Lorlo. In the jungle, Contracts. Mid lane, Mickey. Bot and support going to be Deathly and Matt with Coach Tyler.
And this is going to be a fun match to watch. Clutch Gaming return with Apollo, who is possibly having the very best split of his career, highlighted by him being the NALCS kill leader still 3 weeks in.
He's sitting at 37 kills, which is pretty enormous alongside some very prestigious company there. And he has normally been this really consistent bot laner for the team. People look to him and say, yeah, he's steady. He always adds something, but he's not usually the star of the team. He's not usually the carry of the team. And this split, things are changing. People are looking to Apollo as the big star for Clutch.
Yeah, I think it's been absolutely massive, and it's nice to see him kind of rise up throughout the ranks. He's been around for a very, very long time, since I believe summer 2013. Now, of course, he's going to look up to rack more kills up against Golden Guardians, who might be the third team today to bring out the Donger.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, Deathly was coached by Heisendong, which resulted in Golden Guardians showing Heimer bans previously, and also started a lot of the conversation kind of about Heimer in NA. You know, there was a lot of people watching that, and they started getting coached by Heisendong as well, including Jat. So,
yep.
You know, if teams leave it up, this could be a way for them to kind of break their losing streak. We'll see how prepared Deathly is on it, since he was one of the early adapters, but you know, Golden Guardians is on a 3-game losing streak. They went from 2-1 to 2-4. They're still, you know, on pace for a better record than they had last split, but you know, they want to get back to their winning ways, and they have to really find kind of some change to be able to do it.
Yeah, and they were hoping kind of coming into the split that Mickey coming in for High was going to be that change. The meme everyone gives is imagine what they could do with 5 good players, and for a time it did look that way, but Mickey's not been quite, I feel like, delivering the same stellar results as an individual that maybe they were expecting out of here. You're seeing, you know, bright points from Lolo, who has a good landing phase start, but then doesn't quite convert. Definitely, and Matt had some insane games at the end of the spring split, and started saying, okay, wow, this is a super sick bot lane, but it's still just not quite coming together. They've had, again, glimpses of greatness, but the consistency obviously not there yet for Golden Guardians.
And it'll be really interesting because, you know, on the other side of the table, Clutch, you know, coming out of week 3, they actually took down TL, and they're the only team to beat TL playing standard, right? You know, TL did have their one loss, but everyone was kind of like, oh, well, that was the Vladimir, that was those other issues going on. But they did beat them straight up in week 3, and we're kind of the first team to do that. So certainly coming off of a strong win, but everyone has had quite a bit of time to prepare and scrim and practice during Rift Rivals and during that off week for the remaining teams.
So, of course, we are into this one, and let's see what has happened. 8-13, this will be the first look for these two teams on the patch, of course. 8-13 with the extra balanced micro patch. Aatrox very, very strong. No surprises, first ban red side here. Golden Guardians have learned what so many NA teams wish they had learned a week ago, but that's where we are here.
Yeah, no Heimer for Deathly once again. So people are at least respecting him on it enough to throw those bans his way. We'll see if he ever does get it, and we'll be able to kind of be given that opportunity to perform. But this is a couple games now that has been banned against Deathly.
All right, and of course, Swain very quickly grabbed up here as pretty much a favorite here for Feppevin. This will be his 4th game on the champion. It's going to feel pretty nice for him. Of course, a 3-3 record for Clutch, hoping to keep that one going in the positive direction. They are expected to against Golden Guardians here. And we'll see what else comes through in the lineup.
Yeah, and while it is expected to go to Feppevin, certainly possible it could go to Apollo. We do see it in the bot lane quite a lot, but Apollo really has just the one non-marksman game on Vladimir. I do like Mundo here if you are going to blind pick top anyway. Grabbing Mundo early, I think, is one of the safest guys you can do it on. We've obviously seen matchups like Darius, which can be pretty good in the 1v1 into Mundo, but even in bad matchups, Mundo can farm very effectively with Cleaver, and if you're playing safe, can work quite well. And also nice to have that front line in combination with Kindred. I mean, it's going to be kind of about more of the damage coming from the jungle this time.
I think there's so much that's good about Kindred existing right now in League of Legends. Of course, a physical damage jungler and a high damage physical damage jungler with double mage being very common. Mudo being a magic damage top laner as well. That the difference in damage type obviously very important. Also, champion in general very strong.
And I think one of the really rare things is not just that it's a physical damage jungler, it's a scaling physical damage jungler.
Right, yeah.
Because you can bring in a Vi or a J4 or whatever in early game, great, they bring some physical damage burst, but when you get to those late game teamfights, they are not good enough as your only physical damage source if you're playing against tanks. And Kindred certainly can be that. If you're getting those bounties early and often, you have a long or kind of range bonus. And wow, Assassin here in the mid lane. I'm expecting this to be the Smite Talon perhaps for Mickey. We've been seeing this quite a lot popping up in solo queue and around the world. And he does swap over to Smite there. So this is going to be heavily about, so you can start your own Raptors with a Talisman, get level 2, immediately go to lane, and trying to be pushing up, stealing your opponent's Raptors, harassing your opponent in the jungle.
And I've actually played a couple of self-funnel games in the last week or so, Diana and Talon being my favorite ones for it. It's actually very easy to get the in-jungle mana regen buff. If you're in the river, you get it. If you're, like, to the side of the lane, you get it. You can just stand in lane, but like slightly behind the wall, and you get like 10 mana per second back from Talisman because you're technically in the jungle.
In the shade of the jungle.
Yeah, you got some trees in the vision. There's like some vines swinging back and forth, so it's very easy to get the extra stats. And yeah, it's a strategy we're kind of calling self-funnel, I feel like, and that's what I've seen it online, where exactly you're going once in a while to poach some camps away, but not quite that same sort of 2v1 lane you were seeing with the more conventional funneling earlier in the split.
And one of the big things to me that I'm kind of using to track how successful this is how many of your opponent's camps you're actually taking away. Because I've seen far too many pro games of mid-smite where the person, all they're essentially doing is taking away their own Raptors over and over from their own jungler. And then you're not really going positive in resources, even if you're getting a bit ahead of your opponent's mid laner. If you're not using that to snowball the game, you're just making your own jungler weaker. And do like the two bans here of Xin and Graves. Two of the worst matchups I find for Kindred. Graves just has such high early bursts. He's very, very effective at actually dueling Kindred, and even post 6. You often cannot outburst the Graves out of your ultimate. Xin, also another champion that really makes it hard for you to challenge for those bounties. Very easy to chase down and kill Kindred in those early levels. So, a lot really feeling like it's focused around this plan. You have an aggressive mid laner who can push up, who can help to challenge for bounties alongside this Kindred. You ban out some of the most effective jungle picks against Kindred, and you're really saying, hey, Contracts needs to get strong this game and have a big impact.
And I actually like this Gragas pick right here from Lear. Of course, Gragas got some buffs very, very recently, quite a strong champ, but also is a soft counter pick to Kindred. When they pop the ultimate, when Lamb's Spike comes down, you throw in the cask, all the enemies get pushed off the circle. They can now take lethal damage. You kill them off, and it's been in the past a great matchup before, and now Apollo on, I believe, his single most played champion in LCS history, Varus, though it is his first of the split.
Yeah, there's actually a few of these champions that do have positive interactions against a Kindred ult. Morgana can stand in the middle and time your soul shackles, so the second actually portion of the soul shackles goes off as the ultimate expires. Swain can channel the ultimate in the middle of that and try to time your R2 for the explosion coming out. So there are a lot of those that you're going to have to be careful about. We are going to get to see a Jhin Soraka bot lane. We haven't been seeing a lot of Jhin, but even something I saw Zyrene talking about recently with some of the Halo Blades interactions with Jhin and how effective that can be. I have been seeing on live even a lot of Stormrazor plus Rapid Fire Rush on Jhin for that really powerful 200% crit on your first auto, kind of poking people out and going for more of an early game power, but you can still go more standard crit builds. You can go full lethality. There certainly are a couple options on the table here for the Jhin.
This is going to be pretty nice. I do expect to see Halo Blades on this champion. Definitely his first Jhin pick of the split as well. But I am very excited to see a few new faces now in Champ. Some returning, absolutely, of course, but going to be a very fun one to watch for a self-funnel Talon in the mid lane for Mickey. This is a very aggressive player, a very risk-loving player. He can go 10-0, he can go 0-10, and of course, Golden Guard is hoping for the 10-0 start for him. It's going to be a fun one to watch for. Mundo versus Gnar in the top lane. Solo bringing out, I believe, his first Gnar of the split as well. Certainly, again, not an unfamiliar face, but in sort of a revolving door of what is your counterpick to Mundo going to be. In this case, Solo says it's going to be Gnar, and I'm curious to see how that's going to go for him in the matchup and in team fights at large.
And it is an interesting matchup, and I think that you could say it's to Gnar's favor in the early game. He can have pressure, but I definitely don't see it as an actual like straight up counter pick. I think that Mundo can very easily hold out and farm well against this. If the Gnar wants to commit to a full split bush style build with Blade the Rune King, Rage Blade, all this sort of stuff, you can really get domination in a side lane, but barring that, Mundo should be fine to hold on. And I think so much for Golden Guardians, their success is going to be dependent upon this mid-jungle duo getting in the face of Gragas, keeping Gragas down, getting bounties onto Contracts, because if you have a Talon and a Kindred chasing you around your jungle, taking away all those bounties, Gragas from very behind becomes pretty squishy. You become kind of very, very reliant on just your playmaking, on the initial engage, on the initial ultimate.
Absolutely the case. We'll watch that as the game plays on. But meanwhile, if you want to catch the NALCS live, head over to lolesports.com/tickets so you can see your favorite pros and casters in the flesh. Of course, you can see matches still available to buy tickets for as we watch invades throughout the river back and forth as well. As they trade their blows, everyone seems fine. Quick call-outs, by the way, this does appear to be Hail of Blades for Jhin in the bottom lane. That's going to be a kind of exciting new one there. Of course, Mickey is still sitting on that smite. Everything else pretty much as expected here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a pretty interesting one. We haven't, as I said, really been seeing much Jhin at all, but it's not really like a super, super tanky team, although I think the real terror for Jhin team fights is going to be dealing with, Swain Gragas combo. That in and of itself, the body slam can actually set up for the Swain passive, pull him in into a never move, and once you get on top of Jhin, it can be very, very difficult. So you're going to have to see Lorlo buying space, for his Jhin, for his Kindred, and kind of really creating some safe space for them to farm.
You can see Mickey, of course, trying to start on Raptors, and Febiven and Co trying to stop him. So last hits and small chickens, one of them picked up so far by Solo, a second for him as well. Mickey will not then get level 2 off this camp, but still going to be up in XP and gold as he smites, and he still has plenty of XP. So that is the beginning of a self-funnel game, and he'll be going to Wolves and Raptors again in the near future.
Yeah, honestly, pretty well done from Clutch. Just kind of putting in both their solo laners, trying to contest this a little bit, and they're able to take away enough that Febiven should have the early push. He may actually end up being the first one to get level 2. He is, so well handled there in the early game. You do give up a little bit of something to the Mundo on the top side, because obviously Lorlo was to lane first. He can maybe get a bit more experience there, but things looking pretty good.
And Kondak able to path somewhat fortunately. He actually got the bottom side Scuttle Crab. That's going to give him the mark as it actually was there already.
Yeah, and getting that first mark feels so good to get that going early.
Yeah, it looks like there was just no real attempt there from Leo to try to grab that. He was kind of in his own jungle, and it's a matchup I don't know too well. Gragas vs Kindred, if that's supposed to be an easy fight in the one-on-one at level 2, but either way, more trades in the mid lane, and Mickey getting pushed out. And keep in mind, because of this item start, he doesn't have any actual combat stats for the lane. He's chugged through his 3 potions. That's all he's got, but no extra AD, no extra stats, no extra flat health. So Mickey's going to have to kind of react to how difficult this might be. Also, Febiven does have teleport to get back into lane, but now Contracts wants to gank mid.
Yeah, and I mean, you can look for this, but Febiven's far enough back that this may just be helping him push it in, and that is going to be the answer here. Allow him to push in, reset. Mickey going to go back to base and buy up. And that mark actually did spawn on the top scuttle as Lyra killed it, so that'll delay that a little bit more. And as far as the actual early game matchup of a Kindred versus Gragas, so much just comes down to, can you actually avoid the body slam from Gragas? Can you hop away from that or flash that? Because Gragas essentially needs to connect with that to win the game.
Big play, Apollo at half HP, going for the hard dive, and right away the damage is gonna be there. First blood comes through to Jhin. The flash forward, Contracts will trade, but a double kill in bot lane is beautiful for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, nicely done there by Golden Guardians. Contracts could have just held onto the flash and accepted the death. They do get 2 for 1 though, and here's the death timer change really coming into play. Like, how much did Apollo actually lose? But we'll watch this one more time. Matt setting up this very well with the silence, tanking as many turret shots as possible. It was a good binding there from Hakuo, but Death Fleet and Contracts do pick up the kill, and Contracts was always fated to die from that last tower shot.
And so down it goes, but a small gold lead to Golden Guardians themselves. This is some of the power, of course, of running teleport in the lane. Apollo back in there, only missing the back half of that wave. And of course, no aggressive summoners were used by Golden Guardians in the dive. It was cleanse TP for their own side. And we kind of step back into this one. Of course, those kills mean Definitely is already at BF Sword, which again, we're expecting to be the Storm Racer start, and that is one of the components.
Yeah, definitely looking for that. Lyra going to be taking away some camps, as that's kind of the trade you make when you do go for a dive like that on the bottom side. Allows the enemy jungler to come in and take away some of your camps. But Contract's heading right back to the bottom of the map. And I mean, you can look once more for this sort of re-gank. I mean, Hakuo is without any summoners. And if they can get this second kill, wouldn't mean there's no TP on Apollo either, and here he is.
In vision, Crouch Control versus Black Shield. They're going to go for Apollo, but he's actually spell shielded, so he's not going to take too much damage as yet. They finally pop it out. The Debbie going to be flashed away from it now. They've got a bit of a catch. One more hit will kill him. The banana, and the shot comes in. Definitely knocks down Hakuo. Golden Guardians 3-1.
Such a good regank there from Contracts, and this is something we don't see enough in Pro. He gets right back down to the bottom side of the map, paths behind them. They get another kill. They get the flash out of Apollo, and the bottom side is going to be rolling very early on here for Golden Guardians.
Beautiful stuff. This is a duo lane that we were giving a lot of credit to and was good at the end of Spring Split. And I got to give him a lot of props for continuing a pretty high level of dominance, especially against one of NA's very best and sort of historically best duo lanes in Apollo and Haku. I kind of think everyone gives them respect as a great duo, and with these Contracts ganks, they are definitely building a lead for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of the credit needs to go is to Contracts, right? Because, you know, it's not been about the 2v2, it's been about the 3v2, it's been about these ganks coming in from Contracts, and Lyra has really been nowhere to be seen. He's level 5, you know, he is farming fairly well on the Gragas, but, you know, Gragas has one of the strongest level 3 ganks in the game, right? You know, when you hit that level 3, the body slam flash, you can look for those early plays, and had he been there to counter gank either of those ganks, might be looking at a very different game.
That's true, but sadly, Lyra's not been a big ganker in those old days from a year or so ago of him being a big First Blood King. Don't quite seem to be around anymore. And they're actually Shivers to the Night right here on the bottom side, now spotting each other. They know it's a 3v3 down here, and Lyra actually giving up position against Contract.
Alan's coming.
Now they're shoving the squad up away. Nice bind, but that's going to be Apollo dropping down. He's crashed. Can they get the trade kills? Contracts is low, goes for a couple of hits, but he's not going to take enough damage. And actually gets the mark as Lyra falls down 5-1. Golden Guardians slaughtering their opponents.
Yeah. Clutch couldn't stay around because Talon was on the roam here, and the TP came in, but way too late to actually answer. No kills going back the way of Clutch, and Febiven is not really even going to be able to make Mickey lose many minions here in the mid lane. It's the bounty, it's the kills, everything going the way of Golden Guardians in this early game is just looking like a thing of beauty for them. So much pressure has been put on by Contracts, and Kindred considered by many to be a very weak early game ganking jungler, but they know they have the Talon coming, so if Clutch stays around to fight, it's going to be bad for them. No summoners on the bottom lane here, and that root follow-up, Mickey coming over the wall, is able to help finish off Lyra before the TPs come in, and then you have to cancel as Febiven, but you have to wonder, why was that TP not so much earlier, right? You know, that could have been a good 10-15 seconds earlier, and maybe you have a chance of turning that around.
Yeah, I think you call off the dive if Swain's right behind you, level 6 ready to go and attack your backline. So maybe some misgivings here for the Clutch Gaming side, but we can watch Mickey continue to run around the map and picks up his at least second rotation of the chickens here.
And I mean, up in the top side, there's your Gnar versus Mundo matchup, and this is about expected for me. So if Lorlo and Solo are both playing it well, okay, great. You know, there's pressure from Solo, but it hasn't resulted in a massive CS lead. It hasn't resulted in a kill or really much turret damage either. So this is kind of just being relatively stable. And on the bottom side of the map, you're plus 30 CS, 66 to 36, 2 kills, 3 assists. Like, definitely is so ahead that now, even without gank help, you can see Clutch is just basically zoned off the minions completely.
Yeah, this is rough times ahead. Of course, a very harass-based build out of Matt on the Soraka. The 3 points in a silence, he'll kind of spread out from here. But he's actually one of the very original Sorakas. We didn't get to see him bring it out very much last split, but started putting a lot of work into the the new Soraka, E-Max in lane, and had a lot of tweets of a lot of wins with that one. But we're going to see this turret continue to be pushed down as Matt's gaining gold with auto-attacking it, and definitely actually holding his autos, not actually rushing too quickly for turret damage. Nice bind, but there's just no follow-up. I mean, the damage is not even close. That 2-on-2 would never be won by Clutch.
Very interesting that you point that out, and I'm not sure if that's a conscious decision or he doesn't feel comfortable, perhaps knowing that he could get bound into the turret, a flash binding or something, but it seemed like he certainly could have got some autos in, and then maybe at that point he's just wanting to keep them locked into that 2v2 more, perhaps trying to bait them into defending a low HP turret, and now bringing Contracts down, they can threaten the dive once more.
Yep, spotted on a ward, back they go, cannon minion to be sacrificed, and at this point now you refuse auto attack on purpose, so that maybe you deny the cannon CS and get a little bit more gold off the table. That turret certainly will fall, and first turret gold will go over to Deftly as a result as he thins out the wave, denies as much gold and XP as possible. An entire cannon wave lost to Clutch Gaming, and even more so as they walk forward. But there we go, a big chunk of change on him, and Golden Guardians up a solid 3,000 gold.
Yeah, I mean, look at where the gold is. Look at the Jhin versus this Varus.
2.2K.
Like, that is an absurd advantage this early on. Pre-10 minutes, 2.2 thousand gold ahead on just the Jhin. He could go back to base and complete that Stormrazor, I do believe. We'll see if he's going to go for it. And should be the rush with the BF plus dagger. There is a Stormrazor already completed. Apollo is looking like he's in trouble, and Lyra is still yet to really do anything. I mean, he has farmed a little bit, but he hasn't put on very much pressure. Has not used his flash, his ultimate for any sort of really gank attempts. And it's a very disappointing early game, I think, coming out of Lyra. You know, you have to be willing to actually pull the trigger and be aggressive if you're playing into a matchup where you're getting outscaled. And Kindred, who is farming, who is being proactive, is outscaling you and out-farming you and out-ganking you and getting bounties. Like, he's losing in all metrics.
He's losing in all metrics, but now it's someone else running away from his own lane as Solo's losing in health bars, and is going to be under the turret running away as the duo lane has swapped up top side and Golden Guardians look for another turret to kill. Right now we see Clutch have recalled their duo as well to match the lane, but not actually rush for a turret trade here. So Clutch hoping to maybe extend the game in a more slow fashion. I do want to check in on Lyra, as you mentioned, though. He's gone Runic Echoes in the Gragas. Of course, he did get some AP ratio buffs. Runic Echoes got some stat buffs as well. So when Lyra does pull the trigger, at least the barrel of the gun's a bit bigger, and maybe someone does get blown up. Right now, she's being spotted out, and choosing to not yet jump over the wall. A pretty low health Kindred, but no one's going for the kill just yet as they go for more jungle camps to steal.
Yeah, and it's the whole roam squad here. This would be another bounty if he can get it. And that is another one. Yeah, it's 3 already going on, so 4 really is kind of that big number where you get 75 additional range on the Kindred. That makes you so much more effective in those team fights.
Oh,
Contract's in again.
Missing the bomb, but he's going to land this. Should be enough to land the stun, but will Hako die too quickly? The snipe not quick enough to land in time, and the explosive cast comes across, but Hako not in range to get away. So now is Contract going to drop down for this one? The burst comes across, and no, they will not get any kills on Clutch's side. It's now 7-1. Golden Guardians can do no wrong in the mid game.
The Contracts is just popping off on this. They can't even get the Kindred trade kill. 2 more kills going the way of Contracts. He'll get the Rift Herald. He already took the Dragon. And Golden Guardians are just blasting Clutch in this game. They have been everywhere, utilizing that Talon very well to roam. Here it is one more time. Hakuo perhaps anticipating a flash or some sort of pop to the side there. Was a very good stopwatch to kind of delay, but then just outside the Lamb's Bite, not able to actually get in that for the immunity on death, and then Contracts chases him down, gets a second kill, and Kindred is just off to the races here. 3-1-4, head in farm.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard for Clutch from this point. It's going to be all about playmaking. Can you get that perfect engage, split people up with the Gragas ultimate, find that perfect Mega Gnar? If you don't find something along those lines, you are just outstatted, outspent, and outleveled.
So something explosive, the requirement here for Clutch Gaming. I mean, really that's what it comes down to, right? Like the explosive cask and Swain pops off with an ultimate. I mean, he's got good farm at least, 132 actual gold-wise. He's actually still behind what Talon has and behind what Jhin has, but we have seen some very good Clutch Gaming comebacks before, so their fans and their players can hold out hope, but otherwise, this is a story of Golden Guardians being the far superior team on the day. Contracts stepping up to the level of play we knew he could have, and now a 2v1 looking for this play as they pull him back in, and Mickey barely has anywhere to go! But he's going to pick up one before the trade comes through, at least a little bit of shutdown. Gold as Gragas gets the kill with red buff burn. Something maybe positive for Clutch Gaming, but even then it was a little bit bittersweet with that death coming through, but now Rift Girl's been summoned topside, and Contract wants to help definitely get even more turret gold up in this lane now. Yeah,
they'll be able to knock down this turret, no problem. I don't think there's any chance that Clutch can defend that one. And Gragas, as you see, when you go for that AP enchant, you are very squishy.
It should not have an ultimate just yet, so the burst coming through, they will knock down Contract. Mega Gnar on the backside finds a stun. But the slowing it definitely, and Fevin wants in, pops the ulti. Look for the next little bit of CC, as definitely has now burned the flash. He's not going to get pulled back just yet, but the flash forward. Do they have the burst? Not yet through the wish. They're going to try, though. One more hit, the heals come through, switch back to Maddie, gets one. And now the chaser for definitely kites around to the side, will stay in.
Goes here.
And now Mundo. Lorlo in a 1 versus 3, looking for the damage up when the current call comes across. Mickey back in here as well, saying I'm here with the rest of the gang. They get a trade kill, 1-for-1 back and forth. The Fevin on the run, gets shot up. Can Mickey flash? Yes, he can. Gets another kill through. And now the trade back in, the damage coming across, looks for the kill. They are going to find that one as Mickey jumps forward and gets killed for the attempt. Clutch Gaming finally do come out ahead on something.
A bloodbath in the top lane there. Clutch fully committing to a play on the top side of the map, knowing they need to make something happen, and they are able to get some of these kills back. Get some shutdown gold perhaps, but it is still a turret in the long run going over to Golden Guardians, and it's this Gnar TP coming in Mega behind them, and a beautiful ultimate to set things up here from Apollo, binding to follow that up. The Kindred ultimate is not available, and chasing them down here. Fevin committing so heavily to this. Matt and Depley, though, did a really good job surviving, juking out on the never move, saving the ultimate there from Kindred, then flashing out on the binding, and Matt really did delay as long as possible, and the move speed from the swiftness boots, plus that Jhin or shot did buy a lot of time for Lorlo to then get over here, for Mickey to actually get back up to the play, and they're able to trade back a couple of kills. Still, it is kills positive for Clutch, but when you add the turret in, you have to say it's probably still a pretty even split.
Yeah, turret kill definitely a very valuable thing, but at least the team fight itself, something positive for Clutch, and the glimmers of hope, I should say. Now, Jhin still has not died, so that 3-kill streak is just be shut down, but That's now 2 kills on a contract, meaning maybe something's going to go well for a clutch in the future with this gold back in their pockets. The difference in money, now only 3K, not seemingly insurmountable anymore, though still a pretty large lead for the red team as Dancing Grenade hurts a little bit.
And it's still going to be, you know, even with a closer gold lead, it's going to be about the initial engage. Can you find that great pick at the start? If you can't, double marksmen here are going to be able to put out so much consistent damage. And Talon, you know, we talked about some of the kind of bonuses that Clutch has coming out of that Kindred ultimate, but Talon can do similar things. Talon has a lot of AoE damage, has a lot of burst, and if you are actually all camping grouped up on that ultimate and he still has his burst available, that can be pretty frightening. So, you know, when that Kindred ultimate is used and which team is actually able to position to better take advantage of that is going to be so massive in the team fights.
AoE definitely a big name in this game, and burst damage is going to be pretty volatile here. Again, contracts on the Kindred can make teammates and enemies alike immune to death, caps them at 10% max HP, but with the Grag's explosive cast can push them right off and make that damage come through all the same.
And while Kindred, you know, did get those really fast 3 bounties, he hasn't been able to pick up his 4th. You know, he swapped around the mark a couple times, didn't actually get any kills with that bounty mark on there for the 4th one, and sitting at 3 is nice, but 4 is such an insane jump up, so see if he's going to be able to find that. He does have Gnar marked for now, and you know, Solo hasn't really been interacting with him too much.
He's looking at the chance of roaming down as well, puts a quick trinket ward, but goes back to the top side, wants to make sure that Gragas isn't coming to kill him just yet. And this will be an interesting split push game as we go farther into the future. I want to note that Mickey has not gone for a jungle enchant. He's actually just sitting on the Hunter's Talisman, so it's not like he's going Red Smite Warrior just yet anyway. But also Peppermint will have teleport back up in about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and that's going to be a sort of map advantage, because Mickey's summoner right now doesn't do anything in team fights, whereas Peppermint does, and that can be something that matters when you get into the 5-on-5s a bit later on to this one.
And Solo has done a pretty good job actually starting to really get some turret damage down and starting to open up a bigger CS advantage. Building that early Executioners is going to help a lot. And we're going to see where the Zerker's Greaves is actually going to go, if that's just going to be, sorry, where the Dagger is going to go, if that's going to be into Zerker Greaves or Blade the Rune King or even Rage Blade. We have seen very heavily committed to these side push style builds. And you know, if Solo wants to continue building for that, you know, Lorlo at some point has to be building MR to actually deal with the team fights, and that's where it can start to get tricky because your opponent is building purely for the 1v1 and you're building kind of more for the team fight and utility, and you can start to really fall behind in that arms race.
You can indeed. So always keep track of the map, keep track of where your opponents are going, and make sure you keep your farm up and you watch for the fight. So far, 2 Drakes to 0. Golden Guardians have not been able to push the pace much more quickly. The game started out 2-0 in turrets. But top lane Outer, you saw a little while ago, was solo pushed by Apollo. No one was there to defend him. And as you mentioned a little bit ago, Solo having a pretty good time in the bot lane up against World. You can see on the minimap how dark that turret is at bottom Outer. That is a very low health, below 1/3 HP turret. Something that can die without too much difficulty. In fact, the gold now only at 2,500.
Yeah.
The Guardians losing a grip here.
Yeah, they really are. They're allowing Clutch to kind of find advantages, to slow it down, to really, you know, keep Golden Guardians sitting back, and the longer you give them, the less that gold lead actually means. Golden Guardian still does have some very strong points to fight around, though. If you're looking over at the Jhin, 2 completed items to just the Blade of the Rune King really here on Apollo, and you know, now they need to be able to find ways to kind of fight around their advantages or to continue extending them, and they haven't really been able to continually be in their opponent's face and take more bounties away, take more camps away, so it has really kind of gone into this more slow-paced, stabilized style situation.
You can see a trade now on the left-hand side. Mickey at half HP being chased down by Peppermint again. Just cannot seem to stand up in these fights right now. He's able to shove the waves, no problem. He's obviously going to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, Talon definitely can't 1v1 a Swain unless the Swain is either really behind or doesn't have a Zhonya's or a stopwatch or anything along those lines. As long as you use a well-timed stopwatch, which you know, Peppermint does have, and he's building towards that Zhonya's, has ultimate well. Oh, well, TP out.
Wired out. Yeah, no way to stop him, so, you know, out he goes. Not a huge problem, but that is Solo now missing a 5-minute long cooldown. Hoping for a trap, but turns out that Hunter was the hunted as Contracts came down.
Yeah, exactly. Still a well-played gank there from Contracts getting out the TP. May net them some sort of advantage, and they could look to try to pressure a bit more around the top side of the map, get the scuttle, get some Baron vision, and be able to kind of perhaps draw them into a less preferential play. Contracts really wants to get this 4th mark, and he should be able to. Only have to auto that a couple times before it's actually in smite range, since it is so weak.
It's going to be Pretty nice. Now going for the ulti with that. Oh, almost get Matt. The explosive cast pushes them out. And here comes attempted snipes. Oh. Almost going to land, but still wishes down, and the chase is in. That is a great flash. As Body Slam comes in and claims another kill for Clutch Gaming, 7-10. Control seems to have flipped over to the blue side.
Yeah, beautiful play there from Clutch. Capitalizing on the fact that Contracts wanted to get that 4th bounty. He did get it, but it cost them a kill here onto Matt. It ends up costing them the mid turret in the extended trade as well. But they do have talent pushing out in the in the top lane towards that tier 2. Looking to now cut off Feppevin to at least delay him and just kind of slow him down from getting over there.
Pretty good damage. Even through invisibility, the rest of those shots are all tossed in the fog of war. And once again, Mickey, half HP. He gets to shove the waves consistently. He gets the map pressure, but he's not able to 1v1 and make anyone afraid of him.
And here it is one more time. Golden Guardians just needs to back off. And Matt trying to walk in for some harass, but honestly, just very poor pathing there from Matt. He was walking into multiple people, then had to retreat back away because they don't have mid lane priority, and sets up for this beautiful body slam splash there from Lyra. I think they could have just straight up walked out through the river immediately after taking the bounty and perhaps kept their mid lane turret alive, kept their summoners, and even kept Matt's life.
Well, those could be catastrophic mistakes as Clutch Gaming took down mid lane outer turret. Mickey again finding himself alone. Good flash lanes, gets away and can hop around to the walls based on move speed. He slowly parkours away, but now there's a fight for this buff, and Matt desperately giving health over to Mickey.
And that's Mickey without an ultimate here available for this very important fight. So much of it is going to be about depthly. A lot of the strength of Golden Guardians is on this Jin, and he needs to stay safe and have a strong fight.
Much too early for Lyra. Picked up actually fairly conveniently. This one for Contracts. He walks away, and now an Infernal Drake added to the elemental list. Everything but Mountain that spawn in this game. At least it's a neutral buff for Golden Guardians. That does mean something. Gold lead still sitting at 2K, but part of the jungle going to be taken out.
Yep, just continue to push this out, using the Smite on the cannon to push that even faster, and going to be able to create some side lane pressure with this, and also hopefully for the Talon, you then find people on the rotation that you can maybe pick off.
Ooh, Mickey.
Can't take that fight.
Yep, out he goes. Vision of Empire sees a running assassin. Now goes Mickey, as it shouldn't be too much of an issue for Evan to clear up the wave.
Yeah, it is frustrating to deal with, though. Constantly having to go down to these side lanes and deal with that. And Mickey is going to be able to then get back to his team faster because he has the Moby boots, because he has this parkour ability. We'll see how effective he's going to be, but tracking some of these important item completions, you can see Solo has continually gone for this more split push 1v1 style build. The Executioners plus that Blade of the Rune King are going to be so effective against the Mundo, in addition to Black Cleaver and everything that brings. And as I said, Lorlo has to start itemizing for MR, because you can't go into a fight against Swain and Varus and Morgana and Gragas without any magic resistance and expect to live. But that is not necessarily the most effective in the straight up 1v1 against Solo. So that is kind of what he's going to have to deal with in the struggle for him.
We'll see. Visage, of course, going to happen for sure. That's that build path right there. I wouldn't expect to see more, but
likely Warmog's third, I think, could sometimes be very effective in the 1v1, because it's not about the all-in, but Solo is going to be hitting and wailing on you and trading you down, and then you just kind of back off, you Warmog's back up, you come clear the wave, you repeat, and it's just more about kind of holding him even.
Yeah. We'll kind of fall back in lane gracefully. Now Mickey, again, looking for a sort of back line play, cleared away some wards. Actually knew he was around because the Duskblade did trigger, but still, the Flake's not going to come through for much of anything, and it goes back to shoving the lane. And again, this is actually twice in a row now I've seen the wave reach the turret, and no one is yet in range to stop this. So, though the mid-game has looked pretty good for Clutch, and this could actually be quite good. Feppevin getting a bit low, has to pop his Hourglass, has to pop his ultimate as well. Mickey just out there, and again, denying some of this farm. Yeah,
Mickey has been really good at this run-and-gun style of playing. Like, he's not really expecting to kill Feppevin there, but he's wasting his time. He's making sure more of the minions are dying to that turret, and they're pressuring in the mid lane with a very strong four-man squad. You have kind of this support of Soraka, you have two marksmen, you have the Mundo to tank for them, and Mickey is threatening a flank on the side. Yeah. Hard to go in without your ult, though.
It is hard to go in, and also he's like running through controls while doing so Clutch Gaming were acutely aware what was happening, but still, props to Mickey. He's now grown a very large CS lead. He's plus 20 farm right now. It's, of course, easy for him to take jungle camps as well with that smite, so consistently able to run around the map, infinite mana regen, and doing a pretty good job of making himself rich.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it ever comes down to that straight-up 5v5 team fight, how effective he can be, because it can be difficult to really find the right angle. As an assassin in some of these team fights, compared to someone like the Swain. And also have to give a little bit of props to Lyra. I do like the Frozen Heart quite a lot as a build against this double marksman team. Attack speed very effective there. to kind of reduce some of that. And Lyra has been one of the pros I find sometimes guilty of very poor item builds, so this is a positive one here.
See the bot lane action in full view. Lola walks away, goes back to mostly full health, and the wave will continue to be pushed, but Solo is very close to knocking that turret down. It's been at 10% for a while, but this might be the wave that falls. Right now, there is a Talon coming down.
Yeah, they're going to try to actually fight for this, so Lolo's going to try to move up and aggressively wave clear this, but he's going into Mega. I don't know if you want this.
Mega Gnar, Talon is here with the ultimate on. He's going to try to get out of range of Mega Gnar and does so cleanly, but where can Solo actually go? He comes in. There is a Black Shield of Peppermint here to join in as well, and now Mickey is running, but if he doesn't take aggro, he's still got that extra move speed from both Cloud and Mobies, and back over the wall he goes, and Mickey gets bound, body slam, no explosive cast just yet, but Blue Spike buys a lot of space as Mickey body slammed again. There's the cast, there's the kill. Lyra is on a rampage. Jungle support duo kill. The chase is on. Contract rooted in place. Pulled back in and now to wait it all out. He jumps backwards, gets found. Why did you flash? I'm not quite sure. Had nowhere to go. 2-0 and Clutch Gaming have basically tied up this game.
And I mean, why was Contracts there in the first place? You knew that was a losing play. You know that all Mickey is trying to do is actually get out. Now you've just given up Baron. I mean, the jungler just died. A mid laner could have afforded to actually give up his life there, but now it's going to be a Clutch Gaming Baron start. We'll see if Golden Guardians can hang on. I think it's going to be very tough in this 3v5 to stop them.
So Lyra has no smite for the next 20 seconds or so, 30 or so, but none of the smites for the other squad are alive, so it'll be down to good old-fashioned damage output. Jhin might be very good at this one, so watch out for this play goes, because again, there is no smite. It's going to be a bit close. They got to body block all these shots. Is it going to be sneaky W all over again? They're not quite blocking at all. It got close. But Apollo, true to what he's done for years, secures the neutral objective when the rest of anyone else could not. And out goes Clutch Gaming. Baron recalls, no casualties for the play.
And Golden Guardians just had such a beautiful start to this game, but you know, such a disappointing mid game. And I don't really get why you're bringing down you know, the Kindred and the Mundo to this fight. It's looking like it is a pretty clearly lost fight. It is a 4 members already here. The 5th member is actually closer. So what can Contracts really do here? And he's trying to actually stay around, harass them, you know, maybe buy a little bit of time for Mickey, but gets caught by the vision of the Empire, gets rooted up, and then, you know, wasted flash. There's no way you're getting out of this one. Just giving up a freebie, honestly, and that's such a costly death for him to have. You know, maybe it's worth, you know, Matt being over there and trying to buy a little time for him to get out, but that is your jungler. Your other smite is already down, and Baron was on the table that late in the game. Golden Guardians have really kind of given away so much this game after such a beautiful start.
We're going to keep trying to stack things up. Second Cloud Drake on the table, and Stefficio knows Cloud Drakes are great. Shout out all Cloud Drake enthusiasts throughout the world. Shout out EU LCS, Golden Guardians, 2 Clouds, Infernal, and Ocean. There's something there, but Gold basically now equal. Baron buff still on, I believe, everyone on Clutch. And they are likely to start losing turrets very, very soon.
Yeah, and definitely is still really strong. I mean, he is on those 3 items, has the IE, so there are things that are still going well for Golden Guardians, but they haven't really been able to kind of pull it together. And you know, they're obviously committed to this split push, run and gun style from the Talon, trying to avoid the straight up 5v5. But it's very hard to do that against Baron because the waves get so difficult to clear out. Mundo cannot actually stall Anar very effectively because Mundo can't clear out Baroned up minions very well.
The rotation comes over. Clutch Gaming kind of picking up all the scraps along the way. You can see the wolves being taken right here by Lyra without any issue, but they've pulled over Peppermint. He's dealing some damage right there. Mega Gnar recall comes through. Solo walking off to the side. Looks like he's going to be the one on backside duty as he has TP to rejoin. He's the one going to be on the defensive side of the map. Mickey looking forward. He's going to find a bit of a slow to Takuo and actually jumps over the wall. He wants in for this one. Look at the damage up, but there the bleed might still be enough through the hourglass. He runs away and just barely stays up, but now comes the hard engage. And they found Peppermint. The silence stopped him from doing much of anything. Over the wall they go, but Lyra, his days are numbered. The health bar quite low as well. The snipe's coming through, looking for another kill. As Golden Guardians might just find one more. Contracts wants in, gets away from the bind. 2 more autos will get this kill. That's going to be the route in place. They will get this one picked up.
Mickey's
a 2-0 team fight, and now they want a little bit more. Mickey on the backside, Apollo Black Shield on, but that's not going to block any of Talon's damage.
Mickey's just kind of corralling them here. He's blocking off their exit to get back to base, and all of Golden Guardians is chasing them down.
Check a Talon death for every marksman ever. That's going to be one picked up, and Hakuo absolutely nowhere to go. That's a very aggressive Lamb just spite, and now a tower dive still makes it close. He picks up one, a trade, the flash forward. Matt gets one, but still, ace for one. Golden Guardians come out well ahead.
And that is one of the best fights I've seen in a long time there from Mickey. The individual performance on the Talon was incredible. Such a good job finding the initial play, being able to dance around the fight, corralling the members of Clutch Gaming without ever actually getting caught himself. That was really, really incredible stuff there from Mickey, and it felt like he has kind of pulled them back from the precipice of defeat. They were up against this Baron buff. It felt like their lead was slipping away, and this fight was honestly just amazing from Mickey. Finds Hakuo over the wall, commits to the play, gets out almost all of his health, but 99% of his health, then pulling the ultimate through everyone, jumping over the wall as Lyra was going for the body slam there, avoiding that, back in on Lyra. Then dodging down again, flashing out from Apollo while hitting the rake slow onto him. Always sticking with the play here on the bottom side of your screen now. He's making sure that Clutch Gaming is cut off completely. These are the retreat paths that get Clutch out safely. He doesn't even have to kill them. He just continuously stalks them on the side. If they face check, they will get killed, as Apollo eventually does. And this fight was just straight up incredible for Mickey. I think that's the best play I've seen him make in the NALCS.
Yeah, that was definitely really nice to the backside of that one. Flanking them, making sure they got corralled into a full ace. Beautifully done. Now, back to this 3,000 goalie. The Golden Guardians have been slipping away for 20 minutes now. Again, a hard engage. Jumps away, will not be Summon Morgana, but the stopwatch going to buy enough time. Hourglass burn through, no big deal there. Out goes Lyra, pushed out. But a big root coming through from Apollo. A big stun as well, but Mundo not an easy one to kill. They're going to let Golden Guardians walk away from this one.
Yeah, we also have to remember now that we have contracts on 3 items. He has not really stacked up that many bounties at 5, but he has 3 items. He has that Black Cleaver as well as the Hurricane, and he's going to be able to put out a lot of damage in these team fights just as a 3-item marksman with that 575 range from his initial core bounties. And this style is working out so well from Mickey. He's going to have to likely run.
He's going to go for it.
Going in.
He gets the wish. The bleed is enough.
God.
Mickey does so freaking much damage. He killed a Gnar in the top lane. Sure, not a lot of tank guns, but still wins that duel. Shout out Matt for the wish, and now I'm sure it will fall. That's going to be a bind. Lamb to fight by a few more seconds. Contracts to go will stay alive and be healthy here, but that could have been a bit dangerous.
Yeah, but another nice pick there on the side from Mickey. As he called it out, gets the wish from Soraka. The ultimate comes in, and he has the confidence to go back in, and he's already moving up to the top side of the map to get that wave pushing. He has just been everywhere for Golden Guardian. Such a strong playmaker in this game. Solo looking for the 1v1. Starts off with such a huge advantage here, getting the face check out of the brush. Then look at that burst.
Yeah.
The 3rd hit bleed. That passive coming in from Talon is just insane with that much AD.
Numbers in that ability, absolutely insane. And of course, even the very beginning of the combo, actually, it was already prepared, basically. When he first face checked, he landed QR and all that. And so the bleed was ready, and he's like, oh, wait, I can just auto-Q back half R. That'll be enough damage. And he was right about that one. Burned right through the health bar. Very, very beautifully done. Said, hey, give me wish. I'll make the dive happen. He was right here. So 5,000 gold now. The lead Golden Guardian 6-5 turrets. Once again, looking for this play. Big chunk of burst right there. Piven this time around, not perturbed. Going to dive forward. Look for a little bit more as he goes right back out, but ult for ult, and that is probably a bit easier to stomach as the Talon shorter cooldown and really less opportunity cost there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 96-second cooldown for the Swain ultimate. 31 seconds on Talon ultimate right now with this 40% CDR that he has. So he's in and out of the fight so ridiculously quick. The ultimate has such an incredibly low cooldown, and he has just been so damn annoying. Yes, he can't win the straight-up 1v1 into the Swain with cooldowns, but faked out the cooldown, goes back out. His ultimate is already ready again, and he can continue the style. He has really been executing it very, very well, not getting caught, but he is on a ward now.
That's a bind. This could be death. No, pops QSS, gets right back out, but now watch out for Gnar. Has to take Black Shield. Mega Gnar jump away. It's going to be more of a chase, not just yet. Golden Guardian is able to walk backwards, but Baron is alive for them, and map control is theirs for this.
And Baron can go down very, very fast to this double marksman team if they get on it. Infernal is also on the map, and
for it.
Golden Guardians may want to go for the Infernal as they already have 4 straight dragons. Getting double Infernal will be very nice for this double marksman plus assassin teams. 3 of the champions that are going to be very effective with that bonus AD.
All right, so what's the call right now? Golden Guardians can rush down Baron. Clutch could choose to try to stop Baron or simply take a free Infernal Drake and withstand the Baron buff right now. Drake.
They're going to try to stop.
Yeah, Baron being started, and the team's going to start walking forward. Trinket is going to go for the 5v5. This is a very important climactic fight right now. Rising actions led to this. Contracts lurch forward. Lolo finds this slow. This could be Pepin being very, very cautious. Has to flash away.
Side.
And of course, not yet an ultimate. Is down for 20 more seconds because the earlier plays out of Mickey cannot team fight very well. Now buying time, not a bad thing for everyone, as he wants that ultimate back from cooldown. And now it will be for round 2 of the Baron fight. Once again, attempts towards the pit. Mickey right in the very front. Look for that. Oh, that was close. Lear cannot quite get that body slam though. Mickey still waiting in the wings. Look for that route. They get that one onto Hakuho's Morgana. Ult's gonna miss. Look for the backline. Solo down half HP. Black Shield not gonna help him very much. Lyra can jump forward. And once again, Contracts pushed away, but now with the team segmented, this could get very dangerous. Now 2 at half HP. Lyra low. Solo as well. Another route comes through.
Yeah, and Mickey is actually pinging down towards the bottom side of the map. He pushed out mid. He could go over to the Infernal. He is going to just start up the Infernal here, so they're just delaying around this. And need to be careful that they don't actually get hard engaged onto, because Mickey is not here, and he is low even if he runs over.
And Talon passive works against epic objectives like Dragon and Baron. So Talon's actually an exceptionally good monster killer. He's got Smite as well, so Sense Your Jungler doing it as well. Big play out of him, and that was solo burn TP, Mickey's solo Drake, and Baron went nowhere. Clutch Gaming just got more out of the, sorry, Golden Guardians got more out of the play.
Yeah, I mean, that is 5 straight dragons for them as well. You have all the additional move speed and the AD. Gonna be really nice, honestly, for Mickey, making him even harder to catch in those side lanes and even more of a threat when he is diving in for those kills. You know, Jhin is scaling up. Contracts on this Kindred is scaling up. These guys are gonna be big team fight threats, and you know, it's feeling like Clutch did a really good job coming back from the deficit, but they are struggling to now really deal with Mickey. He has just been creating so much havoc everywhere across the map, constantly pushing out waves that they have to respond to, constantly finding these very annoying angles, because even though Golden Guardians was corralled in the Baron pit and Solo and Lyra want to engage, if you dive in, Apollo and Hakuho are going to be easy prey for this super fed Talon.
Now everyone at home on Twitch chat and YouTube and everyone else can cheat, but let's play a game called How Much AD Does Talon Have? Quick, everyone guess real quick. It's 507. That's a lot of attack damage. That's Jhin status. He is massive.
Jhin has 789.
Yeah, I mean, but still, 500. I'm aware it's more, obviously. That's not a comparison you're allowed to have. But yeah, 500 AD on Talon, that is some incredibly late game scaling. He's almost full out on items, one more upgrade to go.
I mean, look at his farm, right?
Yeah.
This is the self funnel, as you kind of put it, being extremely effective. I mean, he has 450 farm.
Good find right there. He might not have a way out. Flashes goes for a wall. Maybe with the wish he's going to be all right with this one. Slowed down, but there is one. And 580 does not keep you alive against 4 champions. So that is a kill picked up in Clutch.
They got to force it now. It's onto the Baron here. They got Mickey finally, but it is Contract still alive. Minions are in the base right now of Clutch, and Golden Guardians have to decide, do you commit to this fight?
8,000 health on Baron. 4v5. They're going to try. Mega Narc gets a wall slam only on the 1. Now on a Contracts. Can they push him out? No explosive cast just yet. A big heal comes through now for the re-engage. Stopwatch by a few more seconds of time as a couple of kills get traded back and forth. The 1 for 0 so far. But health bar is low on several Clutch Gaming members. And now for the big Jhin snipes. Going to be blocked out. Peppin not taking almost any damage at all. Lyra actually coast is clear. And just like that, nothing really picked up. 2 straight kills now for Clutch. Looking for a play back in. Lyra waiting to jump over the wall, but not on Dr. Moon, and not going to be the play they want to go for here.
Yeah, Contract's playing that fight extremely aggressively, hopping forward in the middle of the team, and does get taken down, but it is just his life to prevent the Baron, and that is a trade Golden Guardians are very likely willing to make. But you have to wonder, could he have played that fight a little bit more passively? He was actually trying to aggressively flash in and finish off Apollo, really looking kind of for that solo venture. I feel like with this really strong 2-marksman team, maybe you can afford to play that a little bit more slowly and just focus frontline. With Mundo buying time and Soraka to kind of back you up there. But you know, it is also kind of creating space, which is pretty valuable. So Mickey back out on the map. Has bought up an Elixir. Very, very close to full build here, and could be looking for Fevin.
There's a small change that happened earlier this year that I want to kind of bring up, which is yellow trinket wards last a lot longer, have a much longer cooldown. Overall uptime actually got buffed as a result, but it means you can't sort of move them around nearly as often if they do get swept. The idea being that you can kind of set up camp for a lot longer. Mickey has like about half of a full sight stone with a level 18 trinket ward here, which means he can actually set up his play space pretty nicely to jump around to find split push opportunities, not be picked off, and he's going to try that on the bottom side as Golden Guardians now set up for Baron.
Yeah, definitely just got a couple of big autos there onto Solo and chucked him out, so they want to go straight onto Baron and try to rush this. Mickey's behind the team, trying to delay them and being so annoying here.
Now 3 doesn't help him. Baron, no one is in range to steal this one away. This should be picked up without issue, and it is. Contra grabs that one. Hako goes to the bind, not going to find it.
Mickey
after
Apollo.
the flash. Now Mickey looking for the play, just jumps right back over, and looks like there's not going to be anyone going down here. Just the Baron being killed. Mickey actually able to stop and grab the wave, then run right back out. Double Cloud with Mobies, he is way too fast to catch.
It's so frustrating to deal with, and the Ghost Blade and the Dust Blade, so much movement speed on this character. Moving around the map so ridiculously fast, threatening the flank onto Apollo so Clutch can't engage. Clears out the mid wave, down to the bottom lane already, clearing that out. You just cannot stay up on top of this guy. He's way too fast, and we'll be able to take away some more camps as well.
Yeah.
Closing in on 500 CS at 40 minutes. This is definitely an impressive clip, and he is so strong at this point in the game.
Yeah, as far as impressive clips go, he's basically Uzi status on that one. This is pretty nice. And now we get to see mid lane under fire as Vicky split pushes and keeps the team spread apart a little bit, releasing some of the big team fight factors. The Swain maybe can't be there with a Gnar, one of those very valuable to the Clutch Gaming lineup. This wave gets cleared, but for now it's a 6,000 gold lead with 5 Drake buffs and a Baron on for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, they're closing in, you know, kind of here in the mid lane and in the bot lane. They're trying to do this 4-1 split for now. You can see Matt trying to get some vision in between to kind of facilitate Mickey's movement back and forth, making that a little bit more easy. But they would definitely love to crack the space. Siegekin is getting a lot done.
Yeah, big chunks coming down. No Banner fan left in the game, but still does pretty good. Taunts back up to a champion, and will just die for now. I was informed Jin with Celerity and the move speed from critting actually crests now 1,000 attack damage.
That's a lot.
And then it can crit afterwards with Infinity Edge. So that's painful for everyone on Clutch Gaming. Mickey's move speed, very close to his attack damage value, about 580 for the AD and 508 or so for the move speed. There we go. That's going to be not the turret dropping as Golden Guardians have come back in his late game.
And they could just retreat over to the Elder. I mean, you have a potential 5-stack Elder that is spawning. Mickey looking for that 1v1, but will back off. And again, that's a 30-second cooldown on that ultimate. So it's really not much to spend. You know, he is using it very liberally, but it's much better to use that than expending a summoner or having to get really low and actually recall back to base because of it.
And the wards come down. Clutch Gaming aware of the Elder Dragon possibility, but down goes the ward. Quick snipe there, and Mickey can rejoin the fray in about 3 seconds with the ulti back available at about 10. As the continued fight towards the Dragon comes in, Lorlo very tanky, gets pulled forward. Can they burn down the Moon? They're going to try, but not a chance. He's just fine. Now Mickey in the wings. Can he be invisible as he runs away? No, Solo's going to drop a 1 for 0 as Mickey does kite it out, but a trade as Contracts falls. Another one comes through, actually. 2 for 1 so far. Golden Guardians winning this one, and Mickey, once again, looking for the corralment, looking to knock them down. Fevin pops a Zhonya's Hourglass, but where is he even going to go? Sniped in, a double kill for Dr. Mundo. Lorlo catching into that one, 20-13, as there's only 1 member standing for Clutch.
And they could just try to end the game here straight up. They still have the Baron buff available. They are in the base. 50 seconds on Bevan. Mickey's going!
The flash in, an easy kill for the Talon who's so fed. This is Golden Guardians picking it up 3-4 in the standings. They will tie with Clutch so far in this first round robin. 7 games in. Golden Guardians hoping to find a successful season, successful split. They're on their way now.
And what a performance from Mickey. That game was a thing of beauty from the Talon. Such a strong early game from Golden Guardians, but really did start to get themselves into trouble in the mid game. Some botched fights, you know, really started to give up a lot, but Mickey, brilliant fighting through the mid game, you know, buying time in the side lanes, always, you know, threatening flanks, getting behind Clutch, and making it so difficult for them ever to fully engage to a fight. I mean, this is some of the best Talon team fighting I've ever seen.
Absolutely agree, and that really needs to be underscored, because so often I've seen the critique that it's so hard to play Assassins in professional play because team fighting is so important, early game is so important. You have to be able to fight for Elder, you have to fight for Baron, you have to fight for these turrets, and you know, Talon, just champions like this can't quite stack up to it. And Mickey didn't really try to team fight all that much. He found the pickoffs even amongst the postures for Baron and Dragon. Otherwise, he split pushing, had a farm lead, had a level lead, everything really, really well.
And I mean, even with that, even with just him poking around, he did the most damage in the game. Like, this is a guy who really was contributing a tremendous amount to this team. Such impressive map movement, and I completely agree. You know, people talk a lot about how difficult it is to play Assassins, and I think he made it look pretty easy that game. I think it was so impressive to see. You know, most of the time when I'm watching Talons, I feel like, you know, they go in, it's a one-way trip. He was able to dance around the outside of those fights so incredibly well, and really be so annoying.
and he did it without relying on Guardian Angel or stopwatch, any of that kind of stuff. Maybe he got a stopwatch at one point in the game, but he had QSS as his way out. Otherwise, relying on Azult, relying on Youmu's, and played those fights so well. Again, I want to kind of just continue underscoring what a good play it was. Of course, the game was more than just like the last 5 minutes. It was a 43-minute game. The very beginning of it was some great bot lane dives. Shout out hugely to Deftly and Matt for getting the 2-on-2 push. And it's another game I've seen where they have the sort of coordinated tower dive where the push comes in, two contracts coming down, and getting the first blood double kill.
Yeah, I mean, Contract's definitely strong early game. I think left something to be desired in the later stages, but still a good performance and a big win for the Golden Guardians.
Big win, 3-4 is the record. So now to hear more from Golden Guardians, I'll be standing by with an interview and the victorious jungler Hunter.
Thanks, guys. Contracts, congratulations on that win. It did not look like Clutch wanted to give it to you guys, so how were you able to pull through?
Honestly, that one was a real struggle for us. It was just like a lot of... We weren't very patient in our play, and we felt very rushed in game when we didn't need to. And it definitely showed we were making a lot of plays that were not in our favor, or we were just very sloppy this game.
I want to ask you a little bit about your Kindred pick, because it seems like you kind of popped off on her. The only other time we saw her really was Dardoch having some success in Rift Rivals. So why was she a good pick for today?
I think Kindred's just OP right now. I mean, she's not really balanced, so you know, kind of... I don't know. She wins every 1v1 jungle matchup. She has insane early pressure. It's kind of just up to how strong you get, whether or not like your marks spawn in good spots or not. But yeah.
Well, looking at Golden Guardians over the split, you guys had a pretty good start and then a little bit of a stumble. So what are you guys doing to get back into the groove?
Well, last split wasn't very good for us, and even in the beginning, we were having a lot of struggles, like in team communication and team macro, but I think the last couple weeks of practice have been really well for us. This 2-week break was really helpful, and I think it showed on stage today somewhat.
Do you have any personal obstacles that you are tackling or have tackled?
Just cleaning up my play personally. I've been pretty sloppy these past like 7 months in the LCS so far, so I'm just looking to clean up my play.
Well, Contracts, thank you. And for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Golden Guardians picking up the victory, but as Contract said, it didn't necessarily come easy, and there was a bit of sloppiness in there to follow what was...
For 7 months.
For 7 months. To follow what was a tremendous early game put together by them, though. Before we dive into that early game, I do want to take a look at the comps, how they kind of fell in favor of either team at the end of Champions.
I really like Golden Guardians draft. I think they're showing that they are really experimenting with the 8-13 stuff. There's the Jhin pick, which has exploded in popularity. There were 3 of them in Academy yesterday. The Talon with Smite in the mid lane has been really good, as well as the Kindred pick you heard Contracts talking about. So
just not balanced.
Just not balanced.
According to him.
The good in-depth analysis. But yeah, I really like this team comp. I think it synergizes together in a lot of ways too. You have the Soraka heal to get people once they come out of the Kindred ult. All this stuff makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and I think Clutch Gaming picked absurdly to comfort. Swain is probably their favorite champion. Morg is the best champion for Hakuo. I think Varus is Apollo's most played champion of all time. The Gragas for Lyra.
Right, going back to that pick.
Yeah, so they did what they could, and I think that's why they may have come close to crawling back, is because they were able to pull out so many clutch plays with those picks, but they've just put themselves in too big of an early hole.
Right, Nargood and Demuno even talk about Swain and Gragas being good into Kindred. It didn't fall in favor of them. Let's take a look at that early game, though, that did go so well for Golden Guardians. Contracts being big here.
Yeah, and I want to point out that this time Contracts goes in mid lane is the last time he even looks at that side of the map until about 7 minutes. So speeding up his jungle pathing, he immediately goes and preps his bottom lane dive when they have the superior 2v2 in Jhin Soraka, but it's all about how they execute on it. So they get a kill, they get a second kill, and they give one back. But then watch what Contracts does when he actually respawns. He just continues to go back. He has one camp up. He thinks Lyra is on the other side of the map, which he is, and Lyra's not stopping this whatsoever. Paths all the way back, gets another gank off. But the thing with this is Lyra's nowhere to be found. They're already down summoner spells, so it's good to punish that. And if you don't have to stop the camp, don't stop the camp. He goes Gromp, he goes Scuttle, he plays the control ward, and guess what? He's ready to do it again. And at this point, even though Lyra matches, they don't match from the mid lane. So it turns into a 4v3, and they get even more fed. So that was 5 minutes of not going mid or top.
And the most important thing about that is, as comical it is to see that, he was always doing something. Even with that downtime where his camp's starting up, he's clearing pink wards out, he's fighting for vision control. And so it wasn't like this fat camp you sometimes see where someone just stands in the bush for like a minute and just waits.
Right, there is a point when that becomes inefficient.
Right, he was still doing things the entire time.
Right, not the way he was doing it.
Yeah, it was very impressive to see, and that was one of those moments where after that last replay, you're like, well, this game's over. I'm gonna go, you know, get a drink, come back, go to the bathroom.
40-minute drink, and sure, it's over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You thought it was gonna be over. Not the case.
Yeah, but I do also want to talk about one other thing we saw, the Jhin that's rising to popularity, along with the Hail of Blades. 3 times in Academy yesterday, played here today. Mark, break it down.
Yeah, really strong in lane with the Hail of Blades. When it activates, you get 13 AD at level 1. That was always the case, but the change allows him to basically keep it up between his auto attacks because Jhin kind of has that set speed, and the previous duration that it would say active was too low. Now you have that all level 1. If you're trading with your entire clip that he has, all 4 bullets, you have just 13 bonus AD and a little bit more depending on what starting item you get. And then at level 9, when you hit that Storm Razor spike, you actually just start moving super fast and have a ton, more than an extra BF sort of AD, basically a full extra item worth of AD.
Just a small point of clarity, this is also with celerity in your second tree,
which is
helping
a
you with the move speed and the AD as well. But as you mentioned, if you were to leave at that point and go get a 40-minute drink, come back, then fine. It seems like the game played out the way it was supposed to. But there was a good solid 20 to 30 minutes there where Clutch rather looked like they were about to grab this game back.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of Golden Guardians talking about how they were rushing right there. They overstayed for a turret while a teleport was coming in from behind them, and they give up a lot of kills here. At one point, it was 1 kill to 7.
Yep.
By the end of it, it was actually very close in kills.
Yeah, and this was a Febby kind of making a huge play, just barely not getting enough damage, has to chase down. And they will not eventually get deflated. Lorlo comes in with the TP, but it just keeps baiting. You know, Mickey respawns and runs back up to the top side to start chasing again. Lorlo's trying to heal up through his stopwatch, not the case. Apollo comes back into this play. Mickey had a pretty good Talon game, all things considered. It was one where the scoreline, there were definitely some times where he was dying and it's easy to laugh about it, but he had a number of team situations that he did play out well. This was not one of them.
Yeah, and once again, you do have to credit Clutch for landing the skill shot through fog here. Hakuo, boom, they get the boot trinket afterwards, so they're more easily able to follow up from it. Lyra knows exactly what his damage is going to be, so he can get the execute right after the last stun. And this was Clutch Gaming crawling back into the game, but as we mentioned before, the giant lead that Golden Guardians got from the bottom lane camp allowed them to recorrect at the end. The biggest of those are probably the 5 Drakes.
I was about to say, it afforded them some early Drakes, and then, of course, the Elder Dragon coming in near the end of it all, as well as some Baron fights that did end up going in their favor. But again, you look at that gold graph and you see exactly that moment where things start to get scary for Golden Guardians. They are able to scramble back into it. You know, looking forward, again, let's remember that this is a team, and we joke about the 7 months comment by contracts, but Golden Guardians did not look good in spring. How do you guys feel about this team now here, day 1, week 4, and the improvements they've made from split to split?
I think a week and a half ago, I was on the fraud train. This game to me was a little disappointing because I was like, oh my God, they're rolling over them in the early game. You can't ask for a better, like their bot lane's completely out of the game, your Kindred's big, your bot lane's big, you have this Mundo who should be scaling, going even in the top side, which he was. Should be easy from there, and that it got hard.
I will say they're 7 games in, 3 and 4. That's good. But they still have to play 100 Thieves and COG, 2 of the better teams in the LCS this split at 5 and 2 and 4 and 3. So unless they overperform, they're still going to come in the first half at 3 and 6. So I think they're definitely improved, but improvement doesn't really matter until you're a playoff team. So they're going to have to still continue to step it up if they want to make some noise.
They've got that 100 Thieves matchup tomorrow. We'll see how they fare. We have to take a break. When we return, Team Liquid loads onto the Rift versus Optic Gaming for Game 4. Don't miss that matchup when we return.
Hey, look, just wait up Mega, wait up Mega.
Help him.
We're fine. This is really good fight, really good fight.
This is good.
I can help Mickey.
We can go forward. Forward.
Yeah, we won.
Oh, I'm dead. You guys can win.
We
There's no flash. You guys can go. Nice, we win. Hey, let's go, boys. Good shit.
Welcome back to Assist of the Week. During the Rift Rivals match of Fnatic and Echo Fox, Whippo was looking for a kill. Diving under the turret to take down Altec was all but executed. As Bwipo went in, Adrian answered with a clutch Stand United. Realizing the danger of the situation, Bwipo started to flee with Echo Fox on his tail. Just before Adrian could connect his taunt, Hylissang landed a skewer, allowing Bwipo enough time to get to safety.
Find the taunt. Hylissang goes to the bone skewer and stops him mid-dash. Beautiful play. Good.